give you more scores at the end of the first rack. Now though, let's concentrate on this Filipino against UK battle. Carlo Biado against Chris Melling. Melling, a fine player in so many different cue sports disciplines. Biado, always so tough to beat. And with his name on this US Open trophy already. Melling wins the rack. And as he does so, I'm rejoined in the commentary box by a player who knows Chris Melling well. Carl Boys. By the way, we're on camera here, Carl. We need to be on our best behaviour. They were talking about the boss playing in the tournament yesterday, but the real boss is Emily Fraser.
Yeah, what's going on here?
Smile for the mugshot.
Anyway, back to the action. Melling scratches on the break. Biado, ball in hand. Pretty kind table layout as well.
He's 40, is Carlo Biado, but he's the junior of the two players here. Melling, 45.
Yeah, battle of the ages. Well, we've just seen the 41-year-old play phenomenal in the previous match. A 3B through to the final 64. Great performance over Majid. Majid will go over to LQ. He'll have one more bite at the cherry to get his name in the hat.
Three years removed from winning the US Open at this very venue, Carlo Biado remains one of the leading contenders. And he's looking for a double because at the weekend, up in New York State, at the Racks Pool Room, he won the Met Vergara Pro-Am, which is a World 9-Ball Tour ranking event. $9,000 the first prize. He comfortably overcame Alexander Kazakis in the final, 13-4. Just the kind of preparation you want, Cole.
Yeah, Carlo Biado. He's always going to be a threat in a pool tournament. Serious contender for snapping this US Open off for a second time. He's going to take the opener hit.
Chris Melling won the lag, but he did not win the opening rack. Instead, it is Carlo Biado who gets off to a flyer. Hardly involved so far this week, Biado. He had a bye in the first round, then he defeated Robert Hart 9-1 in the second round. As for Chris Melling, he's played a couple of good matches. He beat Sean Santoro 9-0, and then Paul Lordy 9-4. Now Lordy overcame Sam Henderson earlier in the tournament, so clearly he can hold a cue stick. But of course, coming up against the might of Biado, that's an entirely different proposition. Did you play Carlo Biado much, Carl?
Do you know what? I can't ever recall playing him, which is madness really when I think about it. I must have played him somewhere. You know what my memory's like, filled with stuff like that. I can't remember what I did last night.
Well, Jeremy Jones is remembering how to play. He's 2-0 up on Torsten Homan on table 5.
I've just remembered what I did last night. I went to the karaoke. I was singing all night at the Tropicana.
What's your best song? Simply the best, I suppose, with your modest outlook.
No, I like to blast a bit of Oasis out, or maybe Robbie Williams, something like that. It was lost on my American crowd, though. But I was having some fun, that's all that matters. Yeah, Double J wins the first two. Amazing.
Well, after your Mosconi Cup exploits, I suppose Robbie Williams' Supreme would be the perfect choice.
Beautiful break off there. No shot on the three. He's got a potential bank into the middle pocket near the 9 ball.
Just on that Robbie Williams theme, there's a snooker pro called Robbie Williams from the Wirral up in northeast, or northwest England, I should say, and he hates any references to his namesake or to Take That. Hates it.
I think he's sizing up the bank. It's missed it. Chance for Melling.
I've been watching this table, obviously, an awful lot over the first 3 days, and when players are misjudging the bank, it is always on the short side, always on the narrow side. He's got such a superbly aesthetic cue action. And when it comes to situations like that, like this, he seems to find the game so easy. But he won't find this one easy.
I've said it over 2, 3, 4 years. The problem with Chris Melling is, for all the talent he's got in the world, and he is a talented cueist, he plays all the games and he's always going to catch you out, Phil. He's just trying to roll on to this because the 9 ball is not on the rail. And he's done a good job there, this Chris.
So what you're saying, Carl, he's jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah, and I don't mean it to sound bad. You know, he'll openly admit that. I don't think he bothers with the snooker as much these days, but there were a time where he actually qualified for the tour, so that shows you the talent and how good Chris is. But he still plays the English 8 ball a lot. He plays Chinese 8 ball. Obviously he plays in what American tournaments he can make. So when you're trying to mix all three, are you truly going to be a master with the cue ball? And what I mean by that is, if you look at Shane's last performance, some of the positional shots he played, beautiful. I'll tell you what, one player here needs to try and get the 9 touching. If the 9's touching the rail, well, Carlo's got a sniffer, you know. I wonder if he can flick off the right edge and get distance and just leave a real tough pot.
Not very often you get a stalemate like this in 9 ball, is it? It is a brief stalemate, in fairness, but...
Yeah, 9 ball pool, the safety side of it does not take long. What are we, 2 or 3 shots in? He's got to make his mind up. I think he's having to go to the bank, Phil. This is what I mean. He's not even interested in trying to play a safe here. He's going for the bank. Two-way bank, of course. Yeah, nicely done. Now this sets up okay for Melling, you know. He can bank it in the pocket where he stood, where the cue ball is. And the angle that the 9's going to go towards that corner pocket, it's going to be going into a big pocket.
Did not touch the sides. Length of table bank. Chris Melling ran out of position on the 9, a little sloppily I thought, but boy, has he made amends. Now that really is a bag.
Straight in the middle of the pocket as well, didn't even touch the rail, didn't need a rail. What a shot.
So Carl, what do you make of Vitaly Pachura defeating Fedor Gorst 9-4?
Well, Vitaly travels around America a lot. I think he does live in the States, pretty certain of that. So he goes to a lot of the tournaments around America and he wins quite a lot of them as well. And he's actually very, very close to Fedor Gorst. They're very good friends. So whenever you play a match like that, he's not got that same edge. So I'm not surprised with the result at all.
Live winners qualification scores. Oscar Dominguez 7-6 up on John Morra. Carl Naderberg came from behind to beat Aloysius Schaap, who was runner-up to Carlo Biado in this tournament 3 years ago. And Emil Andre Gangflo of Norway, he's got the early lead against David Alcady at 4-2. Köping-Han on the hill against Mickey Kraus. It was 8-6, it's now 8-7. Can Kraus wriggle out of a predicament?
Nine ball's close. He's made a random ball. He has a look at the 1 here. He'll have a go, you know. He'll have a go at this into the pocket, I think, where the brown ball is sat. And if he misses it, if he hits it, rather. I was a little tongue-tied there, Phil. If he misses it, it might go in off the brown 7. Doesn't have to take it on, he could play safe. Put the cue ball behind the brown 7. It's an option as well. That's what he's played. Cue ball behind the 7. It's perfect. No, it's not. Did it too full.
Delicate. The 1 ball did not hit the cushion, but of course, after contact, the cue ball did.
He's trying to kick at the 1, send the cue ball into the 9 to hook behind the 5. The purple light's gone wrong. If this bounces, yeah, he can cut this ball in. Needs 1 good positional shot. Outside intruder, just putting Chris off. There you get a wonderful view of his cue action. This long, smooth. I was just bigging up his cue action there, Phil. He threw me off a bit there. He just cued right across the ball. That was all.
Yeah, that was uncharacteristic. badly overcut. He's been very fortunate. He's left hindered queuing over the 4. There's no doubt in my estimation, these middle pockets and their tightness gets in the mind of the players, even the very best.
Extension.
He was a little bit panicked there, Chris Melling. He called extension. He thought the timekeeper hadn't heard, but of course, I think the message had gone across. Now look at this, 3-9 combination.
Well, he's known for his viral pool shots. He's not scared to fling the arm at one.
It was low percentage, big risk, but it's worked out not too badly. But what a shot from Biado. The 3 missed to the middle pocket a while ago was easier than that. That was a tough shot, especially with shape associated. Cracker. Slightly overrun with the cue ball. But Biado won't mind at all Melling taking on the barnstorming shots, the exhibition attempts. He'll just play percentage winning pool.
Yeah, the 8 ball didn't go in the centre of the pocket, it disappeared, but anyway, the 9 ball is down. Melling went for a crazy shot. A kick combo didn't come off. Biado steals the rack.
Yes, Melling showed guts, but he didn't get any glory. On table 11, Oscar Dominguez and John Morra tied up at 7-7. Emil Andrade Gaunflo, 5-2 now over David Al-Kadi. We saw Lee Van Corteza briefly on table 1. He was 6-4 down to Naoki Oi. Now, though, things have changed. The former World Cup winner from the Philippines leading 7-6, but in rack 14, well, this will take some working out, some sorting out, Carl.
There's a cluster of balls on the left side of the table. Again, very rare you see this. So it's quite interesting when these sort of, wow, what's going on here, Phil? It's all gone a bit bonkers on table 1. Look at that, 6 balls in that little cluster.
Yes, I think it's fair to assume this will not be a swift rack.
This might sound crazy, but you could actually chase the 9 into the top left corner pocket. Listen, I'm not saying he's going to do it because he's got the easiest hook in the world, but he could. Yeah, I mean, that was obviously the shot. That
will take some time to resolve. Maybe not on table 12, where Michael Bohannon of the Philippines is 8-3 up on Francesco Candela. And Mickey Kraus, European Open champion recently, now Hill with Ko Ping Han. That 9-ball tracking, but not enough juice. Nevertheless, the 2's in. There's an open shot on the 1. Happy days. Pardon my mid-rack interjection, but I think everyone's keen to know how Jeremy Jones is doing. Well, the answer's okay. He's 3-1 up on Torsten Homan.
Yeah, I need this match on TV to quicken up a little bit. I want to go over and sit front row and watch a bit of that match, Phil.
Well, rest assured, if Jeremy wins, he'll be in the commentary box for at least 1, maybe 2 matches today. Get him to do some work.
I know, the little slacker, isn't he? Yeah, he's cheeky. He's not done many matches this week. He's pulled a move. But of course, we want him to keep winning.
Yeah, all of these so far for Jeremy Jones this week. Victories and vacation.
He's a little straight here. He's going to get the cue ball fizzing. Oh, he's missed a 5-ball. Wow. Unlike Carlo Biado, there's a couple of easy mistakes so far. Where did the 5-ball hit here?
Did that hit the back of the pocket?
I don't think it hit the back of the pocket. I think it hit the side facing, but it was that hard, it was tough to see. I'd love to see a slow-mo of that one. This is the problem with Melling. This is what I mean. His cue ball's not good enough because he plays all the cue sports. If he dedicated himself to this game, and this game alone, his game would move up a notch or 2. My opinion, of course. What has he got on the 6 here?
Has the cue ball poked out? I don't believe it has. I think it stopped just in the nick of time. That's why Biado, mindful of the 30-second shot clock, is rushing to get his jump cue.
Looks like it goes past the 9, Phil. He's down quick, so that tells us it does. Wow.
These aren't the kind of errors you expect from Koeman Melling.
No, you don't expect it, but I think that's because we're so used to him playing the English 8-ball. He's been doing really well at that game. He's been winning a lot of the tournaments. But it is a different game, it's a different skill, it's a different ball, it's a different cue. This is a bigger table. Been a scrappy start from both players, has to be said.
Well, he missed one by trying to force it into the same pocket. Once bitten, not in that case. It wasn't a case of twice shy, he just took it on anyway. Thwacked it in. this is hard to comprehend. Great player that he is, Carlo Biado. Screwing directly in off. Melling gifted 2-2. Out on table 25, Francisco Sanchez Ruiz just starting out against Jan van Leerup. Joni Uski from Finland 1-0 up on Chris McDaniel. Sullivan Clark of New Zealand leads Jonathan Pinagar 2-0. Jeffrey Ignacio is 3-2 up on Alex Gazakis. Skylar Woodward, the US Mosconi Cup captain, has made a good start against Elliot Sanderson. Woodward 4-1 in the ascendancy. Piers Labutis 2-1 over Billy Thorpe. Labutis already has beaten Earl Strickland in this tournament. Ralph Souquet 3-0 down to Alexa Pachelch. Chechia Chin and Jason Shaw 7-7. Vijay Usuri, the man from the Carolinas, he's 7-6 up on Mark Bosch. Good win for João Grillo of Portugal. He overcame UK Open champion Robbie Capito 9-5. Kraus and Coping Hand still hill all to play for on table 17 as they play their 17th and deciding rack. Michael Bohannon 8-4 on Francesco Candela. And that very scrappy rack we saw briefly between Lee Van Corteza and Naoki Oi, well, that went to the Filipino, so Corteza on the hill at 8-6. Emil Andre Gangflow, by the way, 6-2 up now on David Alcadi, European Mosconi Cup mainstay. And breaking off in rack 5 here, the former Mosconi Cup MVP back in 2012, Chris Melling. Nothing MVP-ish about the pool of either player so far in this match.
No, it's been very error-strewn, hasn't it? Some absolute howlers. I believe Mickey Kraus might have just got the job done. We'll confirm that in a moment. Needs to hurry up. Can see a little edge to this one ball. Oh, that's a useful flick, Phil, off the red 3. Chris has got an issue here. It's that blue 2 welded onto the purple 5. Potting the yellow 1 in this bottom right corner. Can the cue ball come down and break the balls out, maybe? Here we go. Good effort. That's not bad, actually, because he could play this off the 8 ball now.
Yes, you can always rely on Chris Melling to play a series of really good shots in any match in which he's involved. The only problem is, as Carl was saying, he's also prone to very surprising errors. Now that was really nicely done. Not just the pot, but the application of bags of check side to hold the cue ball. And now he should be away, but there's always that question mark. I think in any sport, golf, tennis, you name it, there are always players who you look at and you think, with his ability, he should do better. And it's, I suppose, vicariously annoying. And I think that's the case with Melling as well. He's got so many skills. Is left-handed amongst them? Yes, it is. Always a dangerous thing to do, though, that call. Anyway, the 9's in, and Chris Melling is in front for the first time at 3-2.
Yeah, I think he needs to work on his bridge hand, though, when he swaps over. That looked a little odd, didn't it, when he put his right hand on the table? Quite funny.
You were right about Mickey Krause. They say that winning is a habit, and he's formed a very positive habit. He's beaten Koping Han 9-8. Ralph Suko fighting back a little against Alexa Pachelch. Pachelch won the first 3. Suko has won racks 4 and 5. Piers Labutis now 3-1 up on Billy Thorpe. Jeremy Jones forging on. He leads Torsten Homan 4-1. Now here on Table 1 on the Matchroom Multisport YouTube channel, Lee Van Corteza at the table, maybe about to apply the coup de grace. Remember, there is a shot clock on the main table we're watching, but not on Table 1, so that's why he's got the luxury of being able to get up and down again. Keeping things tight. We'll keep you fully informed as to how that match progresses. Tell you what, Carl, if Jeremy Jones gets through this match, gets into the last 64, I think he should take us all out for a meal.
I knew you'd find an angle for a freebie, Phil. You've been plotting it all day.
And there's plenty of options here. Been loving the food in the Harrah's Resort. The deli, the Boardwalk Deli, is my haunt.
Where's the cue ball? He's going to get lucky. He's riding his luck so far in this match. Biado has not been at the races at all. He's been poor. It's another mistake in another rack.
Biado's fellow countryman, Michael Bohannon, has defeated Francesco Candela of Italy 9-4.
Just simply not at the races. Every shot he plays is a disaster, and that was another one. Now he's going to play into the right centre. Cue ball's going to be travelling up and down off a couple of rails. Got work to do here now.
Just thinking, you know, quite a lot of players in this tournament already battle-hardened. Not Biado, as we've mentioned, by in the first round. That very comfortable win over Robert Hart, 9-1 in the second. So maybe he's just still tuning up, but you can't afford to do it out there against someone as good as Melling.
Yeah, and I don't know how long Biado's been using the carbon shaft, but he was one of the last pros to make the switch. He stuck with wood for a while. think he's sat on the purple 5 there, so I think he's okay. You can see Biado, he's just a little lost out there. He's just wondering what's been going on here.
Jason Shaw in a spot of bother. 8-7 down to Shea Chia Chin. Oh. Well, that was the good and the bad. Great kick, but obscured on the 5.
A lot of noise somewhere in the arena. Heard a huge round of applause. I think it might be Lee Van Court Taser.
Well, Biado's going kick mad here.
Well, now he's got a pot of ball though, Phil. This is what he's been doing poorly. That's a real classy stroke when you've missed a few hangers.
Cue ball coming and resting against that long rail, cueing diagonally across it, never easy. Always seems to promote an alignment where you might overcut balls. It was slightly thinner than he wanted, but it went in anyway. And for the third time, we're level. It was 1-1, 2-2, now it's 3-3. And that was all about Biado's magical double kick.
Phil, have we got an update on Jason Shaw? I might have missed it if you said it, I can't remember.
Well, I did say that he was 8-7 down in a spot of bother. Well, now he's in losers qualification because Shea Chia Chen has beaten him 9-7. And he's not the only big name of European pool to be suffering at the moment. Torsten Homan, double world champion in 9-ball, also won the World Straight Pool Championship in his day. 5-1 down to Jeremy Jones. And I know it's early, but Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, 2 years on from being crowned champion here, he's 2-0 down to the Dutchman Jan van Leeuwen. Scarlett Woodward having no such concerns. 6-1 up on Elliot Sanderson. Billy Thorpe 4-1 down to Piers Labutis. Ralph Suke has pulled back from 3-0 down to draw level with Alexa Pachelsch at 3-3. Vijay Usuri, he's now trailing 8-7 against Mark Bijsterbosch. The last thing you want is Bijsterbosch to be on the hill with his break, which can be truly explosive. Emil Andre Gangflow 6-3 up on David Al-Kadi, and that match on table 11, which has been really tight, remained so. Oscar Dominguez and John Morra 7-7. Well, what's occurred over the last hour or so means that we're going to see some giants of the game in losers qualification later. And they will be joined by one of these two.
Melling with a long pot on the yellow one. It's a little thin. Fits the cue ball around 4 rails. It's going to land near the rail, this though, Phil. The problem with this, look where the red 3 is. Good luck getting on this ball.
Well, if the angle is there and he pulls this off, that would be extraordinary. I don't think it is.
Extension.
Yeah, I've just had Jason Shaw tune me ear off for the last 5 minutes. Phil, obviously you can see what's going on. That's why I've gone a bit quiet. He's not happy with what happened at 7-7. Has he fluked the 9 here? I'll tell you what. Oh my word.
He turned away in disgust. The look on his face said, "The world's against me. Chris, you are mistaken." Oh no. The 9's in.
Well, I know Jason Shaw's saying he didn't get much run, but maybe Chris Melling's getting it all. This has been insane. He's a lucky boy, Melling.
Well, when you think about it, he's just fluked the 9. He had another rack where Carlo Biado out of nowhere scratched. Now, this match is still unresolved, but already through to the last 64 to single elimination tomorrow is Shane Van Boning. And after his victory earlier over Imran Majid, we caught up with him.
Shane, you've had 2 wins so far in the US Open. Talk me through both those performances.
First match I did pretty good. I felt pretty comfortable and I played pretty great. And second match here on TV table, I didn't play that great. So just need to work on my game a little bit and hopefully make it into the finals.
Last week you had, I think, a 3-day match with Fedor. Has that helped prepare for this event, or do you feel a bit tired coming into this?
Absolutely, it helps. You know, you're playing a lot of pool. You know, I was playing about 18-hour days, so it's a lot of pool that I play. So I'm pretty much in stroke. So I just need to work on a few things, and I should be all good.
Playing 18-hour days, putting in the overtime. But there must come a point, Carl, where fatigue comes into the equation.
Maybe for you, Phil, not for Shane Van Boning.
18-hour days, though, that is a bit severe. Come on.
Decent break. Is he going to get a look at the 2? Yeah, he is.
Tell you what, when that 9 ball just about limped into the pocket, the look on Melling's face was rather sheepish.
Yeah, it just seemed to curl over as well, didn't it, the 9? It was a funny one. Decent chance here for Chris. He'll probably play 1 rail, come down in between the 9 and the 8. If he can fizz it round, maybe also an option. Well, it's another rack, and it's another miss.
The pot success rate of both players surprisingly low. But while it's lacking in quality, it's certainly making up for an incident.
A similar type of shot to what Chris has just had. He is just not at the races at all, Biado. Melling's got a, he's got a kick on here. He's got a real opportunity of putting Biado into LQ and booking his place into final 64. I mean, have you ever seen Biado play this bad?
Well, it's 7 and a bit racks in now, and I must say, I agree with you. Unexpectedly struggling.
Swinging it round, putting the 2 near the pink 4. Oh, he's completely missed it this as well. It's just been a match of mistakes by both players. No one's going to kick off. It seems to be this way, this match. It's going to continue, you get the feeling.
So with Lee Van Corteza beating Naoki Oi, you just saw there the lag for our next match on table 1. Joshua Filler against Jeffrey Rodder. Filler is such a wonderful talent, but I think this is a very important event for him. He was bitterly disappointed, A, with the result, and B, with the performance when he went out to Mustafa Alner at the European Open. Alner, by the way, has gone 0-2 here. Out already.
Yeah, the game of pool will still come back to bite you, bring you down a peg or two, won't it, Phil? Well, Biado finally popped 4 balls on the spin. It's funny how it can happen this way. If you start off playing well, it seems to continue that way. We've seen it in the final. That Kraus beat Johan Chua. Johan Chua got off to a bad start and he was just lacking confidence for the rest of the match. This seems to be the case here.
Sometimes, though, you can have matches where there is a plethora of mistakes, and they're still fun to watch. And I think that's the case with this one. I'll take you back to the European Open. I don't know whether you were commentating with me, Carl. It was Piers Labutis against Max Lechner. Lechner won 8-7. Neither player was in any kind of gear, and yet it was quite good viewing. Oscar Dominguez on the hill against John Morra at 8-7. Emil Andre Gangflo 6-4 over David Al-Kadi. Thitim Hardinaj and the defending champion Ko Ping Chung just starting out on table 19. Piers Labutis now 5-1 up on Billy Thorpe. Skylar Woodward 7-2 over Elliot Sanderson. The aforementioned Johan Chua, runner-up in the European Open, who beat Shane Van Boning with a virtuoso display in the semi-finals. He leads Liu Riteng 2-1. Jeffrey Ignacio and Alexander Kazakis 4-4. Jonathan Pinagar 3-2 on Sullivan Clark. Kopin Yi, keep your eye on him, 2-0 up on To Lian Han. Chris Reinhold, former US Mosconi Cup player, 2-0 up on Moritz Neuhausen. 3-1 for Joniuski over Chris McDaniel. 2-1 now for Jan van Leeuwen over FSR Francisco Sanchez Ruiz. And Jeremy Jones remains in command against Torsten Homan on table 5, leading 5-1. They're all winners' qualification matches, of course. Still plenty of pool being played in losers' third round. The 1's not in. And it is being blocked by the 9, even though the 5 has disappeared.
Feels like you can see an edge if you can. He'll just run the cue ball. Try and get behind the 7. Pace is good. Easy kick off the side rail, but of course Melling needs to kick safe.
not achieving his goal. By the way, one notable departure, Corey Jewell, beaten 8-7 by Jerry Ovalles of Venezuela. That's on the one-loss side. Also on the one-loss side, in a battle of two players who've been World Cup winners in the same partnership, Mika Immonen defeated Petri Mäkinen 8-2.
Just wants to pop the red ball now, slide over to the right-hand side rail.
That was just butchered. I can't believe it.
This is not the sign of a player who looks like he's going to win his second US Open champion.
I agree, but in this match he might be given a free pass because Melling's struggling as well. That was better. It's such a pronounced pause at the back of the backswing, isn't it? You'll get a good view here. And he's back in front. But of all the shots I've seen so far in this US Open, one of the most eye-opening was that three ball, completely and utterly botched by Carlo Biado. 5-4 Melling.
Yeah, he's going to take a timeout, I think. Yep, he's out of there. He's going to make Biado think about his mistake for a few more minutes.
I think it's a sensible move, don't you? Gives me the chance to run down these scores again. Still 8-7 for Oscar Dominguez over John Morra. Emil Andre Gangflo of Norway 7-4 up on David Al-Qaidi as we look around this terrific arena at the Harrah's Resort in Atlantic City. Mark Bosch did defeat BJ Ussery from behind at one stage, 9-7. Koping Chung trying to retain this title. He's 1-0 up on Fitim Haradinaj. Elliot Sanderson has got a couple of racks now against Skylar Woodward back. Overall score 7-3. Johan Chur has made a bright start against the Yu Riteng to lead 3-1. Alexander Kazakis, former World Masters champion who defeated Shane Van Boening, nay, whitewashed Shane Van Boening in the final of that World Masters, 9-0. Well, he's 5-4 up on Jeffrey Ignacio. Another Jeffrey Rodder, has taken the first rack from Joshua Filler. Jonathan Pinagar, 3-2 over Sullivan Clark. Ko Pin Yi, 3-0 over To Lian Han. It's 2-0 for Chris Reinholdt over Moritz Neuhausen. Looking good for Yanni Uski, 4-1 up on Chris McDaniel. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz back on level terms against Jan van Leeuwen at 2-2. And what about this? JJ A-OK. Jeremy Jones leading Torsten Homan 6-1.
Well, who would have thought it? Listen, Torsten Homan, he's at the back end of his career as well. He's around mid-40s, JJ early 50s. But boy, beating Tyler Steyer, Hill. knocking a beautiful finish in last rack has given confidence.
And I'll tell you what, he's loving it, you know. You can tell with Jeremy. I was having a chat with him briefly this morning, inevitably about baseball. That's all we talk about, really. But it was obvious he got a spring in his step. And what it would be for him to get to the last 64, basically just playing because he's got a free entry into the tournament. He's a former champion, 21 years removed from that glory. And yet, he's rolling back the years, turning back the clock. And who's to say if he doesn't get to the last 64? Who's to say he can't do even better things there?
Be kind of cool if he got through to the final 16 and he's doing prez at the table with me and he's got to go off and play. Ooh, that'd be pretty funny.
I definitely think that slap-up meal on Jeremy is a good way of compensating us for doing his shifts.
Yeah, well, when you have the chat with him, tell him I'm on fillet steak and lobster, please.
Yeah, you're a high maintenance kind of guy. A cheeseburger for me would do. I was telling this story yesterday. Have you been in a restaurant with Michael McMullen when he orders the cheeseburger and tells the waiter, I want the cheeseburger but no cheese?
Doesn't surprise me, but couldn't think of anything worse going in a restaurant with Michael McMullen. Needs a flick here. This needs to hold.
The shake of the head suggests that Melling can't get through.
Yeah, the jump shot is easy. He's actually going to use... Is it his break cue he's got? Or is he using the jump cue? Jump cue. Yeah, you're only going over the edge of the 9. Yeah, he was always a big favourite there. That's actually not ended up too bad. Look where the ball's finished. You can just pot it and roll forward. I suppose he's got to be careful where the brown 7 is. That might come into play. Doesn't really want to jack up and stun below the 9 because he needs an angle on the purple 5. It's actually a tricky shot, this. Yeah, he's held that well. Good shot.
While he's contemplating, let me tell you, Oscar Dominguez has beaten John Morrow 9-7. So Oscar's work for the day is done. Into the last 64 draw, which is going to be carried out when play completes tonight.
Okay, he will get more confident. The more balls he puts, he's gonna be 2 in front after this 9 ball.
Chris Melling, former Derby City Classic 9-ball champion, former China Open champion. As we said, he's a jack of all trades. And here, he's leading Carlo Biado 6-4. You have to say well done to Melling, but also a big part of the story. Biado is having one of those days, a bad day at the office.
Yeah, it happens. Got off to a bad start. You can't shake it off. That's not Chris's fault. Chris has just got to do what the job at hand is, and he looks the player now who's the more confident of the two, and he's breaking okay.
And that's the frightening thing about Q Sports. Carl, you would have had this, where you're on top of the world, you're in the zone, you're playing brilliantly, but you never know what's going to happen from one session to the next. We saw that at the European Open with Johan Chur, simply outstanding in the semi-finals, and then his game fell apart in the final. Biado comes here off a tournament win against a strong field. 74-man field it was at the Racks pool room. Came through that with high expectations, and of course he can still turn things around in this tournament, in this match. But right now, he's not the Biado who we are accustomed to.
Cue ball's going to scratch it. That is unlucky. It wasn't the best of breaks. The cue ball went low, but you don't deserve to be kicked in off. Here's another look. Yeah, you see how it went really low? Unfortunately, a random ball has kicked it in the pocket. Listen, if Biado doesn't knock these in, I think it's time to unscrew the cue, because these are over the pocket.
Well, that was a better 3-ball than what we saw a little while ago. Great champions want to perform at their peak all the time. You can't do that, and so great champions then say to themselves, okay, there's still a great amount of satisfaction to be gained from winning matches when you're not at your best, and so they grind it out, and that's what Biado is trying to do right now. Just been told we're in for a treat. Next up on the main table, it will be losers qualification. It will be Payne McBride making his second appearance centre stage this week against the world 9-ball champion Fedor Gorsht. Win or go home. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. And if Biado can finish powerfully, he can still get the verdict here. Of course he can. He trails 6-5. Emil Andre Gangflo of Norway on the hill against David Al-Kadi, leading 8-5. Koping Chung 2-1 on Fitim Haradinaj. Alexa Pachelj back in front against Ralph Sukaid 4-3. Billy Thorpe trying to get back into the match against Piers Labutis on table 3. Labutis leads 5-3. Skylar Woodward has beaten Elliot Sanderson comfortably, convincingly, by 9 racks to 3. It's now 6-2 for Jeremy Jones over Torsten Homan. Alexander Kazakis and Jeffrey Ignacio are inseparable, 5-5. After losing the opening rack, Joshua Filler leads Jeffrey Rodder 2-1. Sullivan Clark has regained the lead against Jonathan Pinagar, the New Zealander 4-3 up. Batkin Melkonyan has just started out on table 12 against Do Tae Kien of Vietnam. Romanian Melkonyan leads 1-0. All going the way of Ko Pin Yi on table 16 against To Lian Han. 5-0 there. Moritz Neuhausen and Chris Reinholdt 2-2. Yoniuski 5-1 on Chris McDaniel. Niels Fyan and Duan Kwok Wang, they've just started out on table 21. No racks are on the board. And Jan van Leeuwen looking for an upset against Francisco Sanchez Ruiz. Well, Jan van Leeuwen leads 3-2.
Well, what have we got here? Dry break. No shot on the yellow one for Chris, though.
Maybe the arm of Jeremy Jones is tightening up. Torsten Homan now back to 6-3 adrift.
Yeah, he's won the last couple, but it's still a decent lead. You know, if you can just nick one out the next sort of 2 racks, that would make it 7-4. So that's going to be the goal for JJ. He didn't play the pot there, you know. He definitely did not play the pot. Can he see the potting angle? He could. He's missed it. He's left it over the pocket. He's got cover, I think, with the 3. Chris can kick it. He could possibly go and get the short cue. Was it an easy pot, was it? Playing the kick, trying to bank it back on the top rail, run the cue ball. And he's played the 2-rail kick and stick. Even this shot, Phil, look at this. Look how poor this one is. He has just not been at the races today.
I picked up the microphone and I was going to say exactly the same thing. That kind of shot for someone of his calibre and stature in the game should have been played so much better. You expect him to be so precise, and so far he hasn't been, only in short bursts. Well, he placed his trust in the table there, did Chris Melling. And if he's retained position on the 3 ball, what a bold shot that was. Of course, the big head scratcher for him, the relative position of 6 and 7. But where the 5 is, Carl, he might be able to get into them.
What's he got here? If he runs forward, can he miss the 9? Can he flick the 7? Or is he going to chase the 9? Yeah, he's having a little look at that. If he pots this and runs into the 9, it's going to go towards the other corner, Phil. Ooh, a little bit unfortunate. You could see the 6 bounce back up and it's now sat onto the 7. Watch the green 6 here.
Yeah, if that finds the gap and he can pot it into top left. The rack's at his mercy. Again, Carl, not as played.
No, he could only see a certain part of the ball there, and where you hitting it, it just didn't look like there was any kind of obvious safety shot. He was in a tricky position there. Chris with a chance here. Got to get into the cue ball. Anywhere near right centre pocket, just below, is okay. Oh, he's hit it hard. What a shot he's played there. Great pot.
You can always expect Melling to put some shots on the highlight reel. It's all about cutting out the mistakes, the shock. Keep it together, Chris. Very nicely done. He was 2 ahead at 6-4. He remains 2 ahead now at 7-5. Also 2 in front, Emil Andre Gangflow on the hill against David Al-Kaidi, who's fighting hard to avoid defeat. 8-6 there. That's on table 15. Koping Chung and Fitim Harrah have been keenly contesting the first 4 racks. It's 2-2. And that's exactly the same score as it is on table 1. Jeffrey Rodder and I think the best potter in the game, Joshua Filler, although that one does not find the target. And you can't be slack against this fellow. He's useful.
Yeah, very useful. As always, when you see the old Filipino flag. I think he's hooked himself here, though. He was trying to land in the gap. Overrun. Going to be kicking at the blue 2. What's the latest on the Jeremy Jones scoreline, Phil?
I don't think there's been any movement. Let me just check for you. Oh, there has been movement. Another rack for Torsten Homan, 6-4.
Yeah, Double J was 6-1 up. Decent kick shot. We'll keep you updated, as we always do with all the matches. WNTLivescores.com. If you want to check it out yourself, you can. Dry break, at least the cue ball's on the rail and it's long. This is not easier for Carlo Biado.
Yes, and the 2 is not appetising at all. Although with his skills and his magic, 2-4 combination can't be completely ruled out. First though, the 1's got to go in. And he didn't see any value in taking it on.
You can't really blame him, I suppose.
Well, let's put it this way, Carl. It's not the kind of shot you relish when you're low on confidence. And he must be, given the displays put in so far.
Don't know if you can see enough of the ball to play the combo. You could see what Chris was trying to do, couldn't you? He was just trying to use that 8 ball somehow. That's how he played it. It's a good shot. He was trying to use that purple 5 for the hook.
What a curate's egg of a match this. He's knocked in some really good balls, a couple of extraordinary pots when he's kicking. That jump shot was right out of the top draw, and yet alongside it, plenty of mistakes.
Yeah, he's still in a hole though as well, isn't he? He'll put the 2 ball on the bottom rail. He wants to be around centre diamond, and look where the 2's coming. See, around the centre diamond. Them little white dots sort of things that you can see on the brown rails, that's what we call diamonds.
Tried more of a kick and stick than actually happened. It was a kick, yes, but not a lot of stick.
Usually we would think this rack would be over with Carlo Biado, but he's put that seed of doubt. Doesn't want to be straight here. Look at this, Phil. Look at this.
Yeah, he's put that seed of doubt in our minds, and much more importantly, in his own. Sometimes you run out of superlatives. This is the complete opposite. I want to use a word that I don't often use. I'm gobsmacked.
Yeah, well, we've just seen the match before this, Shane Van Bonen. He actually put on a clinical display. Some of the shots, safety shots he was playing, was mesmerising. The same can't be said for another former US Open champion in Carlo Biado. He's been dreadful, absolutely dreadful. Even Chris Melling won't believe it, to be fair. And he's playing the match. He won't care, he's about to get on the hill.
By my reckoning, it's 126 days to Christmas. And already Carlo Biado has delivered a couple of gifts to Chris Melling in this match. Melling on the hill at 8-5. Biado, I think it's not an exaggeration to say, in total disarray. Now they call him the Matador, David Al-Qaedi. Well, he's a little more bullish than he was half an hour ago. He's now only 8-7 down to Emil-Andre Gangflow over on table 15. Koping Chung, the defending champion, is now 3-2 behind against Kosovo's Fitim Haradinaj. Ralph Suke was 3-0 down to Alexa Pachelsh. Now the former US Open, World 9-ball and World Masters champion, you name it, he's won it. Well, he's 5-4 up. Piers Labutis doubling up on Billy Thorpe at 6-3. Yuan Chua rapidly on the hill against Liu Riteng at 8-1. It remains Jeremy Jones 6, Torsten Homan 4. Jeffrey Ignacio has pulled away from 5-5 to 7-5 over Alexander Kazakis. Jeffrey Rodder 3-2 up on Joshua Filler. The lead has changed hands there. Jonathan Pinagar and Sullivan Clark 4-4. Batkin Melkonyan 2-0 up on Do Taekien. Ko Pin Yi having things pretty much all his own way. He's only lost a single rack against To Lian Han. He leads 6-1. Moritz Neuhausen, the young German, 4-3 over Chris Reinhold. 8-1 Jan Uski against Chris McDaniel. Duong Quoc Wang, the star of Vietnamese pool, he leads Niels Fine 1-0, and Francisco Sanchez Ruiz 4-3 on Jan van Leeuwen. Now can Chris Melling strike the decisive blow?
He's made a ball. He's going to have a shot on the 2. Not an easy shot. Not an easy shot at all. But it's something he will have a go at. It's his trademark, this. A big, powerful shot. Try and draw it after that middle pocket on the left rail. Arc it back over to the right, above the right middle pocket. Land straight on the red 3. Game over. He through to the final 64. And Biado, if that does happen, Phil, I mean, I don't know what he's going to do.
He'll have to regroup, but the harsh reality is, the way he's played in this match, it will be tough to do.
Yeah, he had a go. Forgot to draw the cue ball, missed the pot. At least he didn't leave home.
We do know the opponent in losers qualification, or the defeated player here. It will be Venezuela's Jerry Arvelaez.
Tried to get him behind the 9 ball. He didn't, but he got him behind the 6.
David Al-Qaedi. Hard to beat, perennially hard to beat. Now 8-8 with Emil-Andre Gangflow after being 8-5 down.
Yeah, they're actually just playing on this table to our right-hand side, Phil. Al-Qaedi is at the table. Yeah, we've done well there, Chris, just to flick the 2.
Jeremy Jones 6, Torsten Homan 5. 4 on the spin for Homan.
Well, JJ's in a dogfight now. He was 6-1 up.
There wasn't an awful lot of room there. Even though he's been well off the pace in this match, it would be perilous to write off Biado just yet.
I think he's got it, you know. He has. It's difficult to see, but he just flicked the 2 on the way through. Yeah, both players playing some nifty shots. Straight for the jump judo. Doesn't even look at the side rail kick shot. That seems to be something that's vanishing from the sport. Not saying he's wrong for taking the jump shot, by the way. Maybe the shot clock's got something to do with it as well. You don't get loads of time to think, do you, Phil?
Can Melling produce another highlight and nail this? Yes, he can. What a pot from the Yorkshireman.
Well, that's why he took on the jump shot. And he drew the cue ball back as well. He's in, you know. He is in. He's got a tiny bit of work to do with the green 6. Wow. How do you miss that ball?
Well, he was standing there still expecting it to drop. It's so deep in the shelf, you can't quite believe it hasn't found gravity. Will that be the turning point?
Can't believe he missed that ball, you know. And do you know what, Phil? He played a low drag shot to pot it. He should still make it, but I think his instinct, he was going to pull it back and play for the purple 5 in the same pocket. He decided not to. News just in. David Al-Qaedi has got the job done. He won the final rack over there, Phil.
He's a player who shows great heart, last year's European Open champion. The Spaniard through by the skin of his teeth. Emil-Andre Gangflo now has to go again and loses qualification, as Carlo Biado sizes up what should be a successful 6-8 combo. More concerned with where the 6 was going to go, and it's not bad at all. we've seen in this rack, it encapsulates Chris Melling. So many sensational shots and then a simple miss out of the blue. And Carlo Biado, with this 9-ball across the top rail, has renewed life. Eight-6, and of course breaking in rack 15. We've had official confirmation Al-Qaedi did win 9-8. What a scare. Something of a scare going on for our title holder, Ko Ping Chung. He's 4-2 down to Fitim Hardanaj. Ralph Suke, 6-4 on Alexa Bashelsh. Piers Labutis on the hill against Billy Thorpe at 8-3. And what about this for a scoreline on table 1? Jeffrey Rodder. He was 2-1 down to Josh Filler. He's won 4 racks in succession to lead 5-2.
Yeah, going back to that Fitim Hardanaj, he was leading Filler in the last 32 of the World Championship, 7-1. Didn't get the win, but he's an undercover player, that guy, you know, Phil. We won't really put him in that bracket of the chasing pack, but got to keep an eye on that man. We really do.
Yeah, improving all the time, the man from Kosovo. And Jeffrey Rodder powering in the back. By the way, good news for the many fans of Jeremy Jones. He's won rack 12. He leads Torsten Homan 7-5.
The big guns are falling on Judgment Day. Fedor Ghost has got to play LQ to qualify. Jason Shaw is also got to play LQ, one more match to qualify. This man, former champion, he's in a tricky spot. He might be joining them. He's 8-6 down.
Yeah, maybe the defending champion, Ko Ping Chung, maybe Joshua Filler. It could be one of the most star-studded losers qualification rounds we've ever encountered. Just get the sense here that the pendulum might have swung.
Well, he's got a long pot available. I think he's got a full pocket. The cue ball is near the rail. It's a horrible, horrible shot.
Plenty of big names toiling, not Johan Chua. He's beaten Liu Riteng 9-1.
The good form continues for Johan Chua. Does he have a go at this ball? He's a good boy, that Scott Frost. He just brought me a coffee, Phil. He forgot about you, mate. Oh, that was a beauty. That is the best shot of the match for Biado so far. When you think of the balls he's missed and the pressure he is under, he's jacked up and he's speared the 2-ball in. Melling's watching on. He will appreciate that one, even though he don't want to see it go in. This is the beauty of 9-ball pool, Phil. I know you've worked on snooker all your life, but 9-ball, it can just, a flick of a switch, you can be playing bad, you can be making mistakes, but at this level, Just one little thing and it can just turn round. You know, it looked like Melling was... He had 1 foot in the last 64, didn't he? Misses a 4-ball, an easy 4-ball up the rail, it hangs over the pocket. Biado mops up. And now he has a chance of a break and run to pull it back to just 8-7.
And it's the worst kind of pressure because that little demon on your shoulder is saying, I should have had this one already.
Yeah, this is a little stretchy one. He's had to put the extension on the cue. Now this is all about an angle, Phil. Oh, he's got to pull a beauty out here, let me tell you. He's got to go forward with a cue ball off 3 rails, shoot the 8-ball in the top left pocket. And if you remember, earlier in the match, when he tried to thump the ball in the pocket, it rattled, stayed over the hole. If you remember, early on in the match, he played it with pace and rattled the ball. He's done it again.
You make some calls, you do, Col. In the final rack of the World Championship final, you call that scratch from Eklenkachi. And now it's as though you've got a crystal ball.
Yeah, it's just because years and years of playing, you learn, you know, what angle you've left yourself. You see the shots that the pros are going to take on and the things that can go wrong and can go right. That's why myself and Jeremy and Scott, who have played the game at a certain level, we can just see the future. This is awful, by the way. Don't be thinking this is easy for Biado. This is thin, Phil. And if you look where the 8 is, how do you get on the 8? You don't want to be slow rolling this one.
You do not. Mind you, Melling's safety, conversely, wasn't the best either.
May even kick him behind it. I don't think he will. He's played it hard. I'll tell you what, he has done tremendous to even get a look at the 8 from there. Because when you tip that hard with topspin, watch the reaction of the cue ball. It arcs and slows down. You see it? How quick it come down the table, then it slows down. What an effort.
As was that, the heart of a lion.
You're right, Phil. That was a little thin one. Well, you've got to put a bit of drag and right spin on it. A little knee-jerker.
For all of his problems in this match, of which there have been many, Carlo Biado still not defeated. Chris Melling's lead reduced to 8-7. Ko Ping-chung has won the 7th rack against Fitim Haradinaj. So Ko 4-3 down. Ralph Souquet 6-5 up on Alexa Pachelch. Pius Labutis has beaten Billy Thorpe 9-3. Jeffrey Ignacio on the hill against Alex Kazakis. In fact, as I'm speaking to you, Ignacio is through. Kazakis into losers qualification. Ignacio winning 9-6. Jeffrey Rodder on table 1 on the Matchroom Multisport YouTube channel. Rodder is 6-2 up on Joshua Filler. 5 racks in succession for the Filipino. Jonathan Pinagar 6-5 over Sullivan Clark. It's 3-2 for Do Tae Kien against Babkin Melkonyan. Ko Ping Yi 6-2 against To Lian Han. Moritz Neuhausen in a tight one with Chris Reinhold 5-4. Yanni Uski has beaten Chris McDaniel from right here in the USA 9-3. Neil Svyan with a terrific career CV. He's 2-1 up on Duong Kok Wang. And Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, after a slow start, is now in front just against Jan van Leerup at 5-4. No change in the Jones score. Jeremy Jones, that is. Still 7-5 over Torsten Homan.
Jason Shaw has entered the ring. He's about to play Hunter Lombardo. The winner of that match will book their place in the draw. The loser will go home.
Yeah, 3 rounds going on simultaneously at the moment because there's still a few losers' third round matches on the tables.
Yeah, if you're finding it confusing, it's not confusing. Oh, the cue ball, he's been kicked in off. He's been kicked in off. What a chance for Melling right at the end. Ball in hand to win the match.
When you've made a succession of blunders, it's amazing how often the pool gods desert you. Now Melling had the chance to win 9-5. That chance was blown with an easy missed 4-ball. Will he be equal to the task this time?
Well, just look at where the balls are, Phil. These are unmissable. It's one of the kindest splits on the hill I've ever seen, because all the balls lend themselves to the next one, you see. It literally is unmissable. Because the 4 goes up for the 5, then you play the green 6, it's a stop shot to get on the 7, and even then, you play a stop shot on the 6, you've got the perfect angle for the 9. And to be fair, it's probably right. The fair result is Melling wins the match. He's been slightly the better player. He's made errors, of course he has, but he has not been as bad as Biado.
Yeah, well assessed. Yes, Chris Melling made some mistakes, but he also produced some highlight reel pool. He was the better player. I must say, I don't think I've ever seen Carlo Biado make so many elementary mistakes. Regardless, after all is said and done, it is Chris Melling who goes into the draw for the last 64.